What is up, guys? The Strong Boys 19 here, and today I'm going to be diving back into Iron Maiden once again. I apologise for the sound of my voice. I feel a little ill with a bit of the throat and a bit of the sniffles, but I'm just going to battle through and persevere into the next album review for Maiden's discography. And today I'm going to talk about Dance of Death. Now, this album is the band's 13th record. This is the follow-up to Brave New World, which came out in 2000. Dance of Death is an album that sometimes I think about, that it can get quite overlooked, and not a lot of the fans would really appreciate this record as like a better album than the last record. This was focused on a theatrical approach for the inspirations on the lyrics, and the songwriting is still quite progressive here and there, like some of the songs from Brave New World. Kevin Shirley did the production for this album, and he would be remaining as the band's latest and full-time producer from now on, like Martin Birch. So he would produce albums from Brave New World to onwards for the rest of Maiden's discography. The album cover art done by David Patchett is absolutely atrocious. It is one of the most awful pieces of garbage that I've ever looked at. It is an unfinished look of the artwork, and David had asked to not have his name mentioned and credited in the album's liner notes upon release. Maiden decided to use this unfinished artwork as the album cover, and I can't blame Dickinson one bit that he said that this album cover was embarrassing. Eddie as the Grim Reaper and the very ugly look of the mannequins all wearing different masks, and the CGI looks terrible. But all that aside, the production for the album is a little bit of an issue for me. I thought Brave New World's production was awesome, top-notch quality, but I feel sometimes that this style of production can be like a little muffled and mushy, and the drums and the guitar tones sound decent, and of course with Bruce's vocals being mostly great on this album, I don't think that this is like one of their best ever produced records. The opening song, Wildest Dreams, it begins with a huge sound that was just boosting in right from the start, a heavy set of riffs, and a chorus that is simplistic, that works very, very well with the rest of the song, and very good lead guitar works. It's got a beefy sound from start to finish. The second track, Rainmaker, it was taken after the inspiration of Bruce Dickinson's comment that the intro made him think of raindrops, which is a pretty strange thing to think about it. But it's got a steady pace, it's on a rockier style, crunchy guitars in the mix, and for some reason this reminds me of a bit of a Black Sabbath vibe. The solos are fantastic, along with the twin guitar harmonies that worked very well on this song. No More Lies has a nice syncopating introduction on the soft tones and goes into the mid-tempo later on as the track continues on. Structure is very, very different to the previous few songs before it. The vocals were really good, and there's a lot of keyboards into this track as well. And after the chorus, the whole band comes in still with a darker amount of riffs. I feel that this is a better song, as this one grows on me quite a lot the more I listen to it. Mont Segur, the introduction to this is just instant and brutal at the same time. Distorted palm muting playing, and the drums sound assaulting, easily a deeper tone and lyricism. Very aggressive, quicker paced tempo change on this song as well, and the musicianship was punchy. Bruce's vocals feel a little strained on the chorus, as this song was one of the high-pitched ranged vocals for him. Lyrically, this was based on the fall of the Cathar stronghold of the same name, which fell in the aftermath of the Albigensian Crusade in 1244. Not a favourite for me, but I would tolerate this one. The title track, Dance of Death, has a really good clean introduction and the vocals that were presentable. The song itself isn't as heavy, but it's got tons of alternate picking along with the really good drums. It's inspired by the final scene of Ingmar Bergman's The Seventh Seal. Besides the awesome guitar work, the song does drag on for some time, and the melodies were nice on it, but it's not really memorable. That is one of the biggest problems that I would find on this album. There were some really interesting and intriguing stuff on here. It's just that the songs, the way they were executed, some of them can go on too long and feel a little repetitive. Gates of Tomorrow, it is one of the faster tracks, has a decent delivery, but I don't see the song as a favourite, as that there was something lacking in melody, like not memorable in my opinion, although the whole band sound really good though. New Frontier is the very first Maiden track that Nico McBrain gets a songwriting contribution. How about that? Better amount of songwriting than the last song, intriguing attacking drum patterns, and the guitar blazing. Bruce's vocals were very good as they fit in the mood and brought in neat vibrato on his singing style. It is one of the best tracks on this album. Passchendaele, guitar tapping introduction with the simple bass lines, then the band explodes with their loudness and switches back to the gentle sound, and the song cleverly brings in a lot of hooks that were dramatic. A really powerful song. It is one of the highlights based on the Battle of Passchendaele, which took place during World War I. Passchendaele has been beloved for many of the fans, and I would agree that this is one of the strongest tracks on the entire album. Face in the Sand, to me, feels repetitive on the beat. Some interesting stuff, and the anticipation was nice, and the build-up. The twin guitars coming in again were nicely placed, and lyrically was based on the media coverage of the Iraq War. Not really a favourite for me. Age of Innocence is my least favourite on the whole album. The dark lyrics and the more intensity on the music and less progressive, really flat and directionless, uninteresting one, filler all the way through in my opinion. It just never really grabbed me. The last track, Journeyman, is the only song on here with the acoustic vibe. It's soft, gentle, a little folky, a lot of keyboard droning into the instrumentation. This was lyrically based on what it's like to work and to be a writer and as a musician. It is a nice closing track to close this album off on a ballad style. So in a nutshell, Dance of Death was not as strong. I personally wouldn't connect to this album as much. This is to me like an above average album. I would tolerate this album for some time, but in terms of just the very later half of Maiden's discography, this album is not one of my favourites. I'm going to give Dance of Death by Iron Maiden a 6.5 out of 10. Let me know what you think of this album in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll keep you guys posted for more videos in the near future.